Welcome to Chisholm Trail 61. You know, summertime is upon us. July the 4th right around the corner, so we're going to be outside doing a lot of barbecuing and stuff. So I make my own barbecue sauce. I got my own copycat version of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, and I'm going to show you how to do that coming up right now. Okay, I'm going to give you the ingredients as we add them to our pot. In the pot, in a big stock pot, I got 4 32-ounce bottles of ketchup, 128 ounces of ketchup. Recipe calls for 2 cups of molasses. I'm using a 1.5 cups molasses and a 1/2 cup of maple syrup. Now you can substitute sorghum syrup. You can substitute maple syrup. I'm using a 1.5 cups of molasses, 1/2 cup of maple syrup. So I'm going to dump that over in there. Next, we got a 1/2 cup of lemon juice, and that is a bottle of lemon juice. I got 1 cup of yellow prepared mustard. Now this recipe, I'm going to can this up, and I'm going to show you how to can it. It'll be a water bath can. You can make this and just put it in jars and then put it on the shelf if you want to. You know, without canning it, it won't keep as long, but you know, or just make it, you can break it down. This recipe makes about 9 to 10 pints. And you can break it down if you want to just do 2 pints, you know, break it down to what would figure to be about 2 pints. I have 2 cups of packed brown sugar. I have 8 tablespoons of onion powder, 8 tablespoons of garlic powder, 4 tablespoons of black pepper, teaspoons. I got 8 teaspoons of onion powder, 8 teaspoons of garlic powder, 4 teaspoons of black pepper, 4 teaspoons of salt. And dump all that in. And what we're going to do, we're just going to stir all this up good. Get our sugar and stuff incorporated good. Just stir it until you get everything mixed up well. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to take it over here to the stove. We're going to put it on a medium-high heat. We're going to bring it up to a simmer. We'll let it simmer for 5 minutes, and then we'll bring you back at that point. We brought our barbecue sauce up to a boil. Let it simmer for 5 minutes and taking it off of the stove. Now, it's ready to go right now. We're going to can it up. So I'm going to show you how to can it from this point. If you want, you can just put it in a jar at this point and put it in your refrigerator or whatever. Just like, you know, deal with it just like regular barbecue sauce you buy at the store. But I'm going to can it. So I'm going to show you how to can it. Now I'm going to get some jars. I got my water bath canner hot. Jars in there. I'm gonna get me some jars out, and we're gonna can this barbecue sauce up where we can keep it on the shelf without having to worry about it. We're gonna get us a couple of jars out. I like to start with 2 jars because that way I have a place to put my funnel and stuff when I feel one. So we're gonna this, and we're just gonna. You always want to stir your stuff around before you put it in the jar. Always stir it. And we're going to fill this up, and we're going to leave about a 1/2 inch head space. And you can see it doesn't look nothing like ketchup anymore, does it, or anything. It's real barbecue sauce. We're going to fill it to about right there. I'm going to take and just set this over. What we want to do now, we're going to take our debubbler. Even though it's all liquid, there may be an air bubble or something stuck in here. So we're just going to sort of slosh that around a little bit. Be sure that we don't have any air trapped in there. And then we're going to lay this back over here. We're going to take a paper towel, dip it in white distilled vinegar, and we're just going to wipe around our ring real good in our jar top here. Now that's extremely hot because that jar is, because like I said, we did that. We're going to take our lid lifter, get us a lid, center our lid on the jar, and we're going to tighten it down fingertip tight. And then we're going to put it in the canner. We'll move this one over here, put this one in the canner, get us another jar out. Now remember, when you're water bath canning, you need your water 1 to 2 inches above the top of your jars when you water bath can. Now we're just going to stir our barbecue sauce, and we're going to dip it over into the jar. Like I said, I'm leaving about a 1/2 to 3/4 inch head space. Maybe went a little high on that one. We can dip. If you go a little bit high like that, it's no big deal. Just set your funnel over. Get you a teaspoon or a tablespoon, whichever, and you can just dip a little bit of it out and put it in your other jar over there. Get it back down to where you want it at. Take your paper towel that you dipped in white vinegar, wipe around the rim real good. You're going to be sure you get all that off, because if anything's on that rim or there's any chip in that ring or at top of that jar or anything, any sauce, anything at all on there, then it will not seal. And all that work you've done getting it prepared, all be for nothing. Now, we'll center our lid, take our band, our ring, and we'll put it on there and just go fingertip tight. And in the canner, I'm going to slide this one over here in that spot, in the canner. Dump our water out. I got my fire going. My stove's on medium there because I want that to be good and hot. Because we got hot product, hot jars, hot canner. We're going to go ahead and finish filling these. I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me do all of them. But once we get them all filled and in the canner, we'll bring you back at that point. Okay, we got all of them in the canner now. We wound up with 8.5 jars. We got 8 pints in the canner. The 1/2 pint we're not going to can. We're just going to go ahead and eat it. Use it for something. But you can see we got all 8 of our jars, pint jars in the canner there. Now what we got to do, we got to bring this up to a full rolling ball. And then these are going to can for 25 minutes according to my altitude. Your altitude may be different. You know, your time could vary depending on your altitude. Now, the vinegar that I used to wipe my rims with, what was left I just dumped into my canner. That'll help keep jars clean on the outside, keep the that white film from getting on them when you're canning. You can do that both in water bath canning and in pressure canning. But anyway, we'll bring you back whenever this gets to a rolling ball and show you what we're talking about there. Okay, give you a peek under our lid. That's what we call a full rolling ball. Now, we're going to adjust the temperature down some. What we want to do is we're going to let this go for 25 minutes by my altitude at a full rolling ball. And we want to keep this full rolling ball going. If that ball stops, we got to start a timer over again. So you can slow it down some, you know, bring your temperature down, but keep that full rolling ball. A simmer don't get it. It's got to be a full rolling ball. We keep that for 25 minutes, and then we'll be ready to take them out of the canner, and we'll be back at that point. Okay, well, we're waiting on our timer to go off. It's fixing to go off here just any second. A lot of you's probably asking, well, you know, if like I said, you could put it on the shelf. Well, if you could do that, why would you can it? Well, putting it on the shelf, it lasts probably a month, maybe 2 before it starts losing some flavor. By canning it like we're doing, I can go back and open a jar a year and a half from now, even though it'll never be on the shelf that long. We'll have it eat up long before then because it's so good, but there goes the timer. I can go back and open up a jar even if it's a year and a half from now, and it'll still be just like it is right now. It'll still be just as good. Won't lose any flavor. Now, with water bath canning, we don't have to wait on the pressure to come down or anything like that. We just cut the heat off. We're going to take our lid off. You see it's still boiling. And I'm just going to slide it over on that other burner because I can on a glass top stove, and it does hold the heat, and that'll allow it to sort of settle down just a little bit there. Give it just a second. You see how quick it settled down when I moved it off of the heat. And now all we're going to do, we're just going to take them out of the canner. You can see them bubbling. That's pushing that air out from under them there. And that's what makes them seal. And that's also what keeps them fresh. And so we're going to take them out and we're going to put them over here on our thing. You'll notice we have a towel on our island here. You always want to put something down to set your hot jars on, because you set them on just a wood or something that's at least a little bit cold, it may bust the jars. So you always want to have your towel or dish towel or pot holder, something there to put your jars down on whenever you take them out of your canner. Whether you water bath canning, pressure canning, whatever you do. Now something that you don't want to do is you don't want to, the water that's on the top, you don't want to take and wipe that water off of the top. You just want to leave that water there, because that water will evaporate on its own. That's just from it being underwater in the canner. So you don't worry about that, and just let it sit. It'll be fine. Another thing you don't want to do, a lot of people has a tendency, I've noticed, when they pick the jars up, they'll want to tilt it to get that water off the top. Always bring your jars straight up and set them straight down, because if you tilt that jar over, whatever's in it's going to get up in there in that lid, and then your jars are not going to seal like they're supposed to. So you always want to bring your jars straight up and then straight down when you bring them out of the canner. And these are set here 18 to 24 hours. Tomorrow morning, wipe them down real good. If I can something that has there they go sealing. That's a good sound when they go to popping like that. That means they're sealing like they're supposed to. But tomorrow morning, we'll take and wipe them down, label them. Now, if I have something, if I can something that's real greasy, like meat or something like that, I'll take and wash the jars with hot soapy water. Now, remember I said we had 8.5 jars. Well, we got the 8 there, and I can see over half of them there. See, they're sealing. You hear them pop in there? That's them jars sealing. You can see how, like, that one hadn't sealed yet, and that one has the difference. But anyway, we're going to, this cool down enough we can handle it. It's still good and warm, but I just want to do a little taste of it here. This is a clean spoon, so I want to taste it, see, because I can't wait to get into this stuff. That may be the best barbecue sauce ever made. That it's sweet, tangy, really good barbecue sauce. Try this recipe. You don't really need anything special to can. You see, I canned in that stock pot with a glass top lid. If you will, give the video a thumbs up, share the video, share the knowledge. Subscribe to our channel. We appreciate all those that do. All that take time out of your day to watch our videos. We'll be back around on the next one.